Hello and welcome to my Business Story podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Perez. Welcome. Our guest today is Jennifer Devine, the owner of Devine Beauty and Spa located in Milford, Connecticut. She is a full time business owner and lifetime Divine warrior. We're going to talk about that today. Welcome, Jennifer, to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course, of course. What brings you on here? What are you all about? Give me your elevator pitch of your business and what do you do?
My elevator pitch. Jeez. Now the pressure's on. No. Um, so I am a salon owner. I'm a hairdresser, a makeup artist, a special effects makeup artist, but I'm all about transformation. But like I always tell people, it's not just transformation on the outside, it's transformation on the inside as well. And that's the one that really shines through. So I'm very blessed to be able to say that I love what I do. And I really just enjoy being able to transform people from the inside out, really.
Mm.
And, I've been doing this career for over 20 years, and I've always said to myself and others that a smile on my client's face means more to me than any dollar sign, and you can't buy that feeling. So I'm very blessed to be able to do what I do, and I love
Yeah, that's
it.
awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And then explain to me, what does divine warrior mean to you?
Divine warrior. It has layers to it.
Yeah.
So I feel like somebody had actually given me that name during one of the hardest times of my life. I'm a survivor of domestic violence, and that's really where that was coined from. Was getting out of that and having to restart from the ground up. And you know, I I had gone through a lot of storms in my life, and because of my children and God, I'm still standing here today. And I've struggled a lot, and I always tell people, take the rocks that people have thrown at you and use them to build your mountaintop. And
Mm.
that's what I've done. And just from that, like, you're forged through the storms, right? Like God uses your pain and he turns it into purpose, and he uses those storms to just mold you and shape you. And so that's why I say there's layers of it. So it's not just a warrior from being a survivor, it's a warrior through life, through starting over from ground zero. And I was a single mom of 3 kids, and it's not easy to pick yourself up and to rebuild yourself, not only in your physical aspect too, but mentally it's very, very hard. And so, you really have to have that warrior mindset and to just push on through. And, during I, had become sick, and, my save date is 9/11, and I say it was my 911 call to God. And, that was one of the greatest moments of my life. And through that, I feel like I've become a spiritual warrior. And, just being able to fight my battles on my knees.
Yeah.
And, the Bible says, put on the full armor of God and fight with the sword of the spirit. And so, these layers start peeling back with meaning of warrior. And,
Hmm.
for me now it's like I can see so much clearer. And every stage of my life where I've had to fight, you know, it's it's truly amazing that I can stand here today and be where I'm at, and be able to speak about this, and just to see God's beauty and what he's done to really just kind of have it all come together for his good. In Romans 8:28 it says God brings all things together for his good, and I'm really blessed to be able to say that I can see that now. And it's hard to say that in the midst of the storm, but now I know why I had to, be that warrior and fight those battles.
Yeah. That's awesome. Wow. Wow. Quite an intro. All right. So, can you take us back to the beginning? When were thinking about starting your business, did you always love working with hair, or just you just sort of fell into it?
So I was actually doing hair and makeup even before I was in hairdressing. I was 12 years old when I cut my sister's hair for the first time.
Mhm.
My mom did not quite know at that moment. And, I was doing hair and makeup when I was in high school for my friends, for my sisters.
Mhm.
And so by the time I got into hairdressing school, I had already had my own personal experience. But I just always had a love for it, and, I'm a self-taught makeup artist and special effects makeup artist, and I've just always had that love for it. And, early on in my career, one of my very first jobs, I was really blessed because I had this opportunity to work for a salon where I did hair units for men and women, and I actually worked one-on-one with cancer patients and people who had suffered from hair loss. So and it's I was 19 years old at that time. So, yeah, so to be able to experience that at such a young age was such a blessing because I think so many people have, this outlook on the beauty industry that it's all glitz and glam. But that's what I love about being a cosmetologist is that there's so many different areas. And so being able to work with people who have struggled, with illnesses or hair loss was a whole different level. And, I'll just tell you a quick story. Um, my first week working there, again, I was 19, and this girl, she was 19 years old. She had a brain tumor, and she had to undergo surgery. And so I had just taken the extra time, and I really styled her wig, and I had put the curls in it. And that's where I had said just previous about the smile means more than anything is just seeing her light up when I put that wig on her that like, my heart was just beaming with joy, and that's where I had gotten, the phrase I said before, "A smile meant more to me than any dollar sign," and just seeing the impact that you can make on a person's life in such a simplistic way when you truly take that extra time and care and attention, so I'm very blessed that I had that opportunity very early on in my career.
Mhm. Wow, and then what was that spark that, I could do this for a living, and it sort of you leaped into becoming an entrepreneur. What made you feel as if you could do this full time?
Well, it's been a journey because, and I'll be very transparent and I'm a very honest person. I wear my heart on my sleeve. And it wasn't always like that. I had gone through a lot of bumps in the roads. I had a lot of people put me down. A lot of people tell me I wouldn't be good enough. A lot of people told me that I shouldn't have this as a career. I needed to really have a full-time job. I had one person tell me I needed a real 9 to 5 job. Being a hairdresser would never cut it. I mean, when I tell you I had people put me down, I mean, they really had gotten me to the point where I had stopped my career for a little bit. And yeah, it was really tough. So after I had gotten out of that domestic violence situation and I had to restart my life from ground zero, it was literally it was
Mm,
June of 2020, and I was like, "You know what? I don't care anymore what people have said about me. I'm not gonna listen to that noise. Just try my best and see what I can do." So I literally gave it my all in the middle of a pandemic. And remember, the hairdressing world was shut down for like 2, 3 months because of that. So we had to like completely restart. So I restarted my business from ground zero with 3 clients in June 2020. I worked my butt off, and just over a year later, I got my own salon.
Thank you so much for watching this podcast. If you have a moment, please like, subscribe, and follow wherever you're watching this or listening to this so that we can continue to bring these quality business owners telling their stories and bringing you the content that you so crave. Now, let's get back to this interview. Did you have a clear plan, or were you sort of figuring it out, as you went along with your new business ventures?
So I think it was more like figuring it out. My initial plan was just to make sure that like I put my all into everything, and I always wanted to have a career that my hours worked around my kids, not my kids around my hours. So that has allowed me to be at every pickup, every drop off, every event for them, and that was my main priority and focus at that point. Then I had worked in a salon only for about a month and a half during the pandemic until, I just realized it was too hard to work in that environment. A lot of people didn't wanna come, they didn't feel comfortable because we couldn't keep that 6-foot distance, and so I had ended up getting a salon suite, and when I was in the salon suite, it was beautiful, like, it worked great because it was one-on-one experience. I had ended up getting an increase in clientele, I worked really, really hard, I promoted myself, and I grew. I grew extensively in a short amount of time. And that's why I say, like, if you have faith, if you believe in yourself and you work hard, you can accomplish anything you want. And I have a sign in here and it says, dreams don't work unless you do. And it's so, and I'm a big quote person. If you see in the background, I have like quotes everywhere.
That's
um, yes. And
Least
so when I was
blood, so she did. I see that sign too.
yeah, so actually that has something very significant.
Mhm.
That sign right there above me, like,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
um, I had that in my salon suite, that exact same sign, and I would look at that every single day, and and that's when I was in my salon suite, I really just felt like I wanted my own salon, and I looked and I kept saying, "I believe in myself, and one day I'm gonna get it. I believe in myself, and one day I'm gonna get it." And so when I had realized I had outgrown that is when I started working with a commercial realtor, and then I had gotten this place, and that has a whole story of its own.
Mm.
But, the second I got this place, I had to put that same sign because God's not done with me yet.
Mhm.
Like, I have a lot more that I wanna do, and, I wanna keep growing and keep evolving, and but it's so true, and it's like, it's so simplistic, but if you believe in yourself, you can do anything.
Yeah.
You have to have that faith and that drive and that work ethic, and you could do anything you want.
Yeah, for sure. And then as you continued in your salon and other things you're working on, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced early on?
I think, you know, realizing that you are not just, like, working, like, you are a full-on business owner,
Mhm.
which is, like, 20 jobs in one. So,
Right.
I feel people who don't own their own business, they don't realize that. So, not only am I working, full-time, right, like, normal hours being a hairdresser, makeup artist, I am my accountant. I am my secretary. I am my marketer, like I have to do I'm my bookkeeper, like I'm my scheduler, like I literally handle all these different tasks
Yeah.
on top of working full time. And I think it's really just finding that balance.
Mhm.
Um, and sometimes I still struggle with that. It's very hard, but I've always been good at multitasking, but this was like multitasking like elevated.
Mhm.
So- and but it is. I think that once I had this space here and now once I had my own commercial space, it was different than renting a salon suite. You have, like, your own utilities, and I remember, like, when I had first gotten this place, like, I had to pay for signage.
Mhm.
Like, there's so many more expenses and responsibilities that come with having a freestanding commercial spot,
Yeah.
but, I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, what would you say, like, what are the main benefits to owning a brick and mortar versus, going? Because I know some like barbers and hairstylists that they'll go to their client's home. What would you say, the differences? Like, say if someone's looking to own a brick and mortar and they're tired of going to people's kitchens to cut hair. What would you say they need to be looking at, and what are the main differences for you?
Well, I could say been there, done that, and never going
Mhm.
back.
Yeah.
If you wanna know. I mean, I've gone from the bottom up, right? And now that
Mhm.
I'm up, like, I don't wanna ever go back down. Ugh, schlepping all my stuff there and then trying to wash out color in a client's sink and over their face, and then you gotta wipe it off. I
Mhm.
don't miss it at all. My best piece of advice is just, you know, figure out like what your goal and your dream is and just go for it. Like if whoever is listening right now, if you have that dream to have your own place, chase after it. Don't give up and keep going. I always say like it's okay to rest, but don't stop. And it's baby steps. Like I started with renting a chair and then I went to renting a salon suite and then I got my own place. But I mean, if you want to go way back, I started in like, again, people's homes, my basement. Then I had a salon in my home. Then I went back to renting. Then I went back to my house. Then I went
Mhm.
back to houses. Then I went to that renting the chair, salon suite, and now I have my own. So I've been through the whole journey. So
Yeah.
I've been there, I've done that. But I can tell you it's hard work, but it's so worth it. And you know, I I have, like, events here too, and not only that, but I was really cautious on advertising.
Mhm.
When I had it out of my own place, I was very cautious on advertising because you don't know who's coming into your home.
Yeah.
So for me, like, being able to, like, fully advertise and put my name out there and just kind of, like, have events and welcome everybody, it's so much more freeing. You don't have restrictions.
Mhm.
Um and I love it. So if you guys are out there listening and you're going house to house, you can do exactly what I'm doing. Just have that mindset, have that drive, work hard, and keep climbing that mountain.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Was there ever a moment when you wanted to quit, in, your salon, in any stage? And then what sort of kept you going?
I would say, well, I had moments where I had stopped my career, but that was that I had allowed others to get into my head. So we're not gonna think about that point because I did. I kept persevering through that.
Mhm.
But I will tell you, there's many times that I'm like, oh my gosh, it would be so much easier to work for somebody else because of the fact that again, it's not just clock in, clock out. Like you don't have a there is no time clock when you run your own business, like
Yeah.
round the clock. And it does, it gets overwhelming sometimes. Um, but my kids are what keep me going and my reason why for what I do. And I'm so blessed to be able to have a place where, I can have my kids here if needed to work around their schedule. And honestly, this place that I have built is so much more than hair and makeup. When you look around here, like I have like quotes of inspiration everywhere and they come from me in my life, from, that warrior mode, from those struggles, from the storms that I've gone through. And I cannot tell you how many people, like, have come through here and I've had people cry to me, they've laughed, I've prayed for people, I've had one person saved here, one of many I'm claiming victory over,
Mm,
and, this place is like a home for other people,
mm.
and that's my other reason why, like, I can't stop that. Like, this is a place that's so much more than hair, so much more than makeup, it is transformation on the inside out.
Yes, that's awesome. You could definitely tell that. I've been to your salon before, beautiful place.
Thank
Um,
you.
one day I'll get this thing cut down. Uh, but in the
I'm
same
waiting.
way, yeah, well, in the same way, females they have their salon and their salon stylist and everything. I have my own barber too, so I'd be like, "Where'd you go?"
Good.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Uh, So, have did you have any mentors or, community, or unexpected support along the way as you continued plowing through, with your salon and then, and what you really felt you were called to do?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm gonna tell you the brief story on how I got this because let me tell you, that expression, "God can move mountains,"
Mhm,
and it says it in the Bible. I mean, it's so true. God literally can move mountains. To try and sum it up quickly, long story short, it was probably about September, October. I started working with a realtor, commercial realtor, and he's like, "Tell me what you want." And I told him, I was like, "I want a salon that's about 1,000 square feet, a big open floor plan. I would like to have about 2 extra rooms." And I said I wanted in, a beautiful plaza with plenty of parking. I wanted, like, big windows for natural lighting. And he's like, "Okay, and when do you wanna move in by?" And I was like, "I would love to be in before December." And, or sorry, I would love to be in by, by Christmas, right?
mhm,
And he's like, "Okay." So I prayed on it. And I prayed and I prayed, and I found this place, and I had another hairdresser bidding against me that was represented by the landlord's realtor, okay?
mhm,
So this making commission, right? And so I had restarted my life after I had gotten over out of, that domestic violence situation. My credit score was, like, in the 500s. It was so low. Like, I barely did anything the year before because I was a stay-at-home mom, and it's at all these odds against me. And I remember one of the girls from church, because church was in my life, man. I mean, I had so many people from church that like were just inspiring to me and prayer warriors that surrounded me. I'll never forget. I called this girl. I parked right in front of my salon
mhm,
the night before this decision was going to be made, right? And I was like, God, if you are for me, nothing can be against me. I was like, you can move mountains. And I was like, just please, like, clear this pack, like, turn their decisions towards me, like, God, if this is what you want me to do, then you need to make it happen. And the next day I heard back and the landlord's realtor turned his client down and said that I was a better fit because he saw more potential. So he gave up. That does not happen
yeah,
at all. And with a 500 credit score,
mhm,
there's no way. And so I'm telling you, God can move mountains. And like, that's why I say, like, pray on things because God answers prayers. And, when you ask for something in his name, it will be done. And I am living, breathing, walking. So,
Okay.
can you hear?
Yeah, I mean, what happened?
Somebody called.
Oh,
I'm on my phone.
put it
Sorry.
to do not disturb.
How do I do that?
Do you have an iPhone or Android?
iPhone. I've never done that.
Really? So swipe down in the
Yeah.
top. Hold on, and you should see. Oh, I don't even have it on do not disturb. But anyway, see the top. So you swipe on. So right here says do not disturb on the top.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Never knew that existed. Sorry. Um, so I don't know what picked up. So I'll just say, so I'm living, breathing, walking proof that God answers prayers. So what helped me through it was my faith in God, the prayer word beside me, and honestly, just seeing other people evolve around me when I was in those salon suites and getting their own businesses. And I think that sometimes we look at people as our competition, but we should look at people as our inspirations as well.
Hmm. Yeah, it's huge. That's one thing that I sort of adopted as a business owner. There's literally plenty of business for everyone out
Mhm.
there. You can't cut everyone's hair in the world. You need other people to help with the burden of style. Um, you
Yeah,
know, for
100%.
yeah.
100%.
Same for me as a photographer, filmmaker. I literally can't photograph every home in the world or film every wedding in the world. And so there's plenty of business for everyone. And yeah, looking at other people that are making it, and making it big should be an inspiration instead of a point of jealousy. Because there are people that they see other people as as you're saying competition and trying to be. I mean, there's healthy competition if it's unpopular and not, like, "Oh, I'm gonna get him or I'm gonna get her, I'm gonna steal their business and all that stuff," Yeah.
And yeah, no, I 100% agree. And I also do like a lot of continued education by my choice.
Mm.
I've taken a lot of classes, and one of the things that somebody said is, like, surround yourself with people that you want to be like, that you aspire to be like.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to ask questions. So, like, I love, like, talking to other business owners and asking questions or other people who have successful businesses, not just in the salon industry.
Mhm.
Um, and I always ask them, like, what is the one piece of business advice that you can give me? And I ask that to so many people, and I take that and I just, like, soak it up like a sponge, and I just remember those things. And, it's hard, like, like how you say, like, what do you do when you have those moments that you just wanna stop, that you just wanna quit, that you're overwhelmed? You have to remember your why.
Yeah.
Why are you continuing? And remember those that people cannot succeed if they don't work at it.
Mhm.
Like that sign I have in here, it says, "Dreams don't work unless you do." You have to work. That's why I say you can rest, but don't stop. You always have to keep going.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good words. And this is sort of why I started this podcast. This is recording conversations that I was already going to be having anyway and have been having, and to share with the world, how you can do it too. There's so many people that they think, oh, they were born with a silver spoon in their mouth kind of thing. And like, no, we worked at it. We toughed it out.
And
We have a journey, and it's gonna come through sweat, tears, sometimes more sweat, sometimes more tears, or a good amount of both. And if you're passionate about it, if you're skilled about it, if you have skills to what you really want to pursue in your business and your life, you're gonna achieve what you are hoping for. And of course, prayer works. Your relationship with God and family members, and it's something that it's success doesn't just drop in your lap. What's
so
what's the term of the um overnight success takes about 10 years. Something like
so
that.
true. It's so true. But it is, it's like, like I had said earlier on, like you take the rocks that people are throwing at you and you build your mountain up. There's layers to it. You have to keep climbing, you have to keep growing, you have to keep evolving, and there's gonna be different stages. And but the thing is that if you believe in yourself, if you have that faith and work hard, you can accomplish anything. I
Mm.
mean, there's so many success stories out there, and one thing that's really helped me too is I listen to a lot of motivational videos
Mhm.
of inspiration. Eric Thomas is a great one too. He he had explained in, like, one of his videos about, a guy was like, "Meet me down by the water," and then the next morning, he's, like, at, like, 5 AM. And, he was, like, putting him under, and he's like, you know, just to sum it up, he's like, "You have to want it just as bad as you wanna breathe." And
Mm.
it's so true.
Yeah.
You have to really want it. Things don't come very easily. You're gonna always have bumps in the road. You're gonna go through ups and downs. You're gonna go through storms in your life. But you have to keep that drive and that mindset and just continue having that faith and pushing through. And when you push through, you're gonna persevere and you're gonna accomplish your dreams.
Yeah. Wow.
And one other thing really quickly,
Mhm.
because I know a lot of people have been through, unfortunately, similar things that I've gone through with domestic violence and just being a survivor of that. Um, Our pastor had said once, "You cannot be a victim and a victor at the same time." And to me, hearing that phrase is so powerful because I could sit here all day and play, poor me, this is what happened," and sulk about it. But I chose to walk in victory, right? And even like biblically, the battle's already won. God won our battle for us. Like we walk from victory, not for victory.
Mhm.
And I could have sat back and I could have taken, the poor me road, but I'm not gonna lie, there were times that, you're gonna go through those times, like I've suffered from anxiety, depression, and PTSD from everything I've been through, and it's a struggle. Mental health struggle, and it's not easy to overcome that. And through the battles I've gone through, God has taken my pain and he's turned it into purpose. And, I now can say that I'm a victor.
Mhm.
I'm no longer a victim, I'm a victor. And so I just encourage anybody who has gone through any struggles, not just, being, stuck in a domestic violence situation or being a survivor of that, but mental health is huge. I always say like silent struggles, right? Could be anything. And, there's people that have suffered from addiction, there's people that are suffering from autoimmune diseases, like anything like that. But take what you're going through and use it as the fuel to just burn inside you, to ignite that flame and just restart that fire and keep burning and just keep going and never stop. And it's hard to get to that point, but that's why you have to keep pushing forward. Don't stay in victim mode, walk in victory and you will be successful.
Yeah, it's just depends on how bad you want it, right? So,
So so
yeah.
true.
And how did your personal life change when you started, your salon and then, were cutting hair more often and everything like that?
I really think that like when especially when you become a business owner, you have to prioritize, right? Like, you
Yeah.
have to really prioritize, um, the things that are important, And so I I learned real quick what a budget is.
Yeah.
Um, but, I honestly, like, becoming a business owner too also helped build my confidence and who I was. And, um, I started surrounding myself with, again, like-minded people. So my personal circle had changed, you know? I wanted to keep growing and evolving, and, I joined the Milford Chamber of Commerce, which I love. I go to their events and, I do a lot of networking. So just different things had changed, and I also feel that I always wanna inspire others. So I have a tendency to, always try and, like, to preach to others and to when I see somebody who wants to do something, I try and, like, ignite that within them and share our stories. So there's an expression that says, "Your story could be the key to unlock somebody else's prison." And so that's why I share my stories and through everything, like, I've become an advocate and a speaker for speaking out for domestic violence and mental health awareness and just encouraging others. But, also, like, owning my own business has allowed me so much freedom, like, in my personal life, like, with my kids. I mean, although, like, we're working nonstop, like, it's such a blessing to be able to take my kids and go on a vacation or a getaway or make arrangements for their birthday. Like having that freedom is a blessing. Um, and also like being able to use this space too for, different events. It is. It's been such a blessing for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And how did you keep things going when the newness, and the hype wore off of, ooh, a new space, or ooh, a new business venture? How do you keep, that fire on?
So again, I feel like we're always evolving, right? Like we're always evolving, we're always growing. I'm always looking for new ideas. And so I just try my best to continue to, work my hardest and also promoting. Like whatever you put out there on social media is what you're going to get back in return.
Mm,
So whatever, I recently started doing like glamour parties and spa parties for kids as well. So, just kind of like reigniting like whatever you're passionate about. And I feel like for me in my career, like I'm very blessed to be able to have such a variety of services that I can offer. Um, Social media is an asset. It is something that is great for your business, but it's also hard. You have to be consistent with it. So I would say consistency is key, So whatever you have that passion for, just keep, pushing at it. And for me, again, I love doing hair and makeup. Um, so I feel like that passion is always there, So like I might go through like a dry spell or something like that. That passion's always there. So I just try and continue to just keep that lit.
yeah, that's awesome. Um, what kind of, I guess, advice would you give to other people that are struggling with keeping that fire on for themselves?
Remember your why.
Mm,
Remember your why. Why are you doing this? What what just makes you have that passion? And if you don't have that passion for it, then maybe you need to do some soul searching as to what your passion is. Because I know personally like I can't like I hated retail. I worked in retail for years. I don't have a passion for it. I did not enjoy it. I did not want to do it. I am a people person, but like I didn't want to do that. And so even for me, like I don't have a passion with like nails. You know what I mean? So I won't do it. But I would say just find your passion and stick to it. And if you're struggling with that, then do some soul searching and maybe just take a moment to really figure that out.
yeah,
Having like time alone to just really like be in that moment, um, is really honestly something that I think people take for granted. I did a lot of like soul searching, like the year after I had gotten out of my domestic violence situation, and I really found myself again. I think sometimes like we get caught on autopilot and we just keep going and going and going. Like we're like the Energizer Bunny, right?
yeah, yeah,
And sometimes we have to take a moment to pause and reset. So if you're struggling to figure that out, I would say just take that moment to pause, reset yourself, and just refine your passion.
yeah. And just to, speak briefly on that with, I don't know if you know this about me, but I used to be a cable installer before I was a
No, I didn't.
photographer, filmmaker, and basically the one thing that really, got me thinking, about, God's plan or God's will, or what I need to be doing for the rest of my life, was actually, during, I guess, like a youth event kind of thing, but,
Mhm,
young adults kind of thing, because I was in my 20s, working for Comcast and, as a contractor. And it was a job that I enjoyed, but I really, it wasn't really my passion. And so during this, I guess, church service, the pastor that I was preaching was talking about how, typically what you're most passionate about is something that God wants you to do for a living, or for you to pursue, because He instilled that passion in you, to pursue and do, um, I guess, do good, or to be beneficial to the world, or the people around you. Um, and so I took 2 weeks off of my job, um, and I loved it. I really enjoyed taking, photography jobs. I think I shot a wedding and a bunch of portraits, and just really enjoyed it. I was doing it sort of part-time, once in a while,
mhm,
but then I, took more jobs, during that 2-week period, and after that 2 weeks, I gave my final 2 weeks, to my boss, but thankfully, my boss, he at that time, he knew, uh, what I was talking about, because he was a PK, a pastor's kid. Uh, and so I was able to explain to him, like, I believe the Lord wants me to leave this job and pursue photography, and the sort of the rest is history. And I've gone through my own, you know, journey, ups and downs, and everything like that. No brick and mortar yet, um, but
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. That's the
yeah,
C word, yeah.
yeah, but the thing is, there are seasons to different passions. Because even though, I've heard this from other business owners that for like 10, 15 years, like say they were, that, a manufacturing business, and then God led them away to do something else, either mission work or other things. And so that may not mission work for me per se, but I feel the Lord maybe leading me to do something else, maybe still doing video and photography, but in a different direction. So that's where I need to, so what you're saying is speaking to me. I'm thinking like, huh. And like my wife and I, we did do a kind of prayer retreat, a couple weeks back, and it was very beneficial, um, for us. And I think we're gonna do another one soon, with more direction on that for me as far as, next steps for
Right.
business. But yeah, it's very, it's business is a very, I say, I don't wanna say fickle thing, but it's something that there's seasons to it. There's
Amen.
seasons of growth, there's seasons of failure, there's season of, picking yourself up, dusting yourself off, and moving forward because this is what you know you need to be doing. And then there's also seasons of redirection.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and, and I think that's part of what I believe that's my season right now. But, for you, how has your definition of success changed since you started?
Oh. Well, I remember, the day of my lease signing, I almost didn't sign my lease,
Mm,
and, I was really scared. I started doubting myself, and, um, there was actually a song, called "Dancing on the Waves." It's a Christian song, had come on, and, the lyrics in it were just hit me right at that moment, and I just knew that everything would just be okay, and so, like, my motto now from that moment is, "Be prepared, but do it scared."
mhm,
And, so my definition of success has kinda changed in that, and our pastor had said something about this too, is it's okay to fail, but fail forward.
mhm,
Don't, like, you let your setbacks keep you there. Your setbacks can turn into your comeback. And and so success is different for everybody. Success for me, is having, you know, that freedom to be able to be there for my kids. My kids are my number 1, so that's why you hear a lot about it, and just being able to have that because and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, like, I was told no so many times that I had to change my career in order to be there for my kids, and to me, like, that's success, being able to be there for my kids and still work. Success is also being able to do what you love. Like, I have such a passion for what I do, and I also have compassion for people and helping others, and I'm blessed to be able to not only transform people from the inside out, but also to minister to people, to pray for people here, and God has turned this whole place into something even greater than I ever expected, and my success is still growing, and I also feel like success for me is how you can pour into others and be fountains and not drains. You know, for me, I try so hard to pour something into everybody that comes in here and in hopes that it'll continue to flow in them and through them and then onto others. And obviously success, obviously we all want success financially and to keep growing and prosper as that. And God has placed in my heart a business plan that having this meeting here today and conversations is definitely like reigniting it. And again, I have to remember, be prepared, but do it scared. Like it's okay to be afraid to jump into new things, and so I feel that, success is a variety of things. It's not just focused on financials. There's just so many things that again, the whole layering thing, it's peeling back those layers of success and the things that you've gone through, and it's just an accumulation.
Yeah. Beautiful. Um, so what kind of habits or mindsets helped you push through those tough times?
Prayer is number 1.
Mm.
Um, definitely, prayer, and also, again, those motivational videos that I listen to.
Mhm.
I've gone on YouTube many times, or you can do podcasts, even, in the Holy Bible app. I've struggled a lot with anxiety and depression, PTSD from everything I've been through, and let me tell you, anxiety is one of the cruelest things. It can totally transform your mind
Yep.
into what you think the reality is, and it's a liar.
Mhm.
So I had to really do a lot of, like, kind of redirecting. Like, I tell people, when you have, like, a negative thought come up, redirect it with a positive one, or take the lies of the enemy and replace it with God's truth. And that's something that, like, the redirection of your mind is so important. Your mind is one of the most powerful things in the world. And what you feed it is what's gonna fuel it.
Yeah.
Positive mindset, positive outcome. Negative mindset, negative outcome. So, really just keeping, my prayer life strong, and always, like, trying to drive myself with those motivational videos, and again, who you surround yourself with. Check your circle. Check your circle, because let me tell you, I've had to kind of reformat the people around me, and I've asked God to remove people out of my life that shouldn't be there, and sometimes the people that you think are gonna be there supporting you are not the one in your corner.
Mm.
And so, just having that mindset, and, surrounding yourself with, like-minded individuals is huge.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely something to chew on. It's also it's funny I said that. It's not just the mental stuff, but it's the food stuff. Because sometimes if when you're eating the bad stuff, it'll cause you to start feeling bad about yourself, mentally, and I'm trying to, do low carbs, definitely stay away from pizza. And it's hard when you're in New Haven, uh, the pizza
You're
capital of the
speaking
world.
to an Italian over here, right? Like, all right? It's pure carbs, pasta,
Yeah,
bread.
yeah.
You know? So, but it is so true, and, just to, chime in a little bit on that, I've been on my own health journey, and, I've lost a little over 50 pounds from last year, and God kept telling me, "Your body's a temple, you need to take care of it,"
Yeah.
and it's so true. And when you take care of your body and you fuel your body with good foods, it makes such an impact on you. Like, you'll have so much more energy, you'll feel so much better, you'll feel rejuvenated. And this whole year has been such a transformation for me, from the inside out. And but you're spot on. Like, what you feed your body is so important. And yeah, I went, like, no carb, no sugar, and, that's what really made a huge difference. Because you
Yeah.
feel, like, lethargic when
Yeah.
you have, like, a lot of pasta or carbs and
Mhm.
stuff like that. But it is, and just having, like, I really feel like one of the other things is just truly taking care of yourself in all
Mhm.
areas. Like, self-love and self-care needs to come first, before business, before kids, before anything. And it sounds crazy to say that sometimes, especially if somebody is a parent, but it's so true. Because if you are not okay mentally, physically, the rest of it is not gonna be okay. You have to make sure that this is right first before you
Mhm.
pour else.
Yeah, yeah, so true. Um, so how has your definition of success changed since you started your business?
I feel like it's changed in the fact of, like, I felt like I always had to be, like, the best, right? Like, I've struggled with perfection, and I felt like I always had to be the best at this, the best at that. I really struggle with comparison. Comparison is the enemy.
Mhm.
It steals away so much joy, so much peace. Um, and now I've really changed at, like, again, we're in our own lane.
Mhm.
We can all be successful. We don't have to compare ourselves, and so now it's like I see myself and I see others around me. And again, like I said earlier, like, it inspires me. Instead of feeling that it's direct competition, like, we can inspire one another. And so success is our own. We have to claim our own success and what and the meaning is for us.
Mm. Someone's walking.
Somebody is doing battle ropes next door at the gym.
Too funny.
Is it?
Um,
A lot of people think it might be something else. So I'm always like, "No, it's."
yeah, it's all good. Um, so what did, your experiences so far, about failure, or even, let me start that again. What did that experience teach you about failure? You know the things that you've gone through so far in your life, what did it teach you about yourself even?
Ah, that, it's definitely like, I think about all those moments that I struggled, and it gave me strength.
Mm,
And, I remember one time, not too long ago, I prayed for God to give me, make me strong, to give me more strength.
mhm,
And sometimes you think you're just gonna get the strength, right?
mm,
God has you go through
mhm,
these tests,
mhm.
and I was like, "I am never praying for strength again." I went through one of the deepest, darkest times in my life, but I will tell you that those failures, those storms that you go through, they're there for a purpose. When you are in the midst of it, if I can give anybody advice, when you're in the midst of it and you don't know why you're going through it, why you're struggling, why things aren't working out, remember there is a greater reason and purpose through it. And I can look back now and I am thankful for those failures. I am thankful for those storms and those hard times because it made me and shaped me into who I am today.
Mm. Yeah, so it's true. It's sort of like, when you pray for patience, He's gonna give you something to be patient about. Ow. It's a lot of it's about the journey too, and that's where I'm sort of concerned about with AI and how it's
Oh, yeah.
become a cheat code for not some yes, for adults, but more so for kids, that they're using AI to learn about all these other things instead of asking their parents, instead of, doing the research on their own, properly, with books and stuff. There's a with a even with asking, uh, what do you call it, Siri or whatever, just asking like, what about this? What about that? Or, ChatGPT, all those other apps, and they're missing out on the whole journey of how they got to that answer. And it's
I'm
really
hun
concerning.
100% there with you, especially being a mom of
Yeah.
3 young kids, and I remember asking the teacher, I have a concern that my daughter is using talk to text to type,
Mhm.
and I'm worried about, like, the delay that she's gonna have, and they're like, "Well, we actually prefer that because it helps them get it out on the paper quicker."
Wow.
I was like I was in shock that that was their response. So, I'm right there alongside you. I think that this technology is it's definitely pros and cons to everything, and but it's very scary, and I also feel like, you know, speaking of I can't tell you people have come in here and showed me hair pictures that are AI, and
Wow.
that's not real. You know what I mean? Like, that color does not exist.
Uh,
And, even makeup, like, people I just feel like it's like false advertisement. You know what I
mhm.
mean? People have unrealistic expectations
Yeah.
because of AI, and, it's just it's very scary. Like, you don't know what's real and what's not anymore, and yeah, like, I can't tell you how many people have come in here with pictures and they're AI created,
Mhm.
and, but yeah, I mean, it's affecting everybody, and
Yeah.
that's why, again, not only do you have to stand out in your field, but you have to stand out against something that's, like, just computer generated.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are people that are posting these pictures, and who knows if they're real artists behind it or if
Mhm.
it's a facade, you know? It's hard, so just keep being authentically you is, like, I guess, a piece of advice I can give people.
Yeah. I was just gonna touch into that, but you sort of answered the question, but we'll ask the question anyway, see if anything else pops out. But do you do you have, I don't wanna say fears, but do you have concerns about AI infiltrating and then you losing business because of it? I mean, it's not like, unless there's a robot hair cutter that comes in and can do a haircut in 10 minutes where it would take you an hour. But
I know.
that was
Well,
scary.
luckily, I don't see anything at least in the near future, that would be doing hair color and makeup like that with robots, but, again, kind of like what I was saying, like, it's like false advertisement, so,
Mhm.
I mean, you don't know if there are and again, this is not me, directing towards anybody specific. This is just like the possibility. Are there like artists out there, hairdressers, makeup artists, special effects artists who are using AI to computer generate their images? And that's like false advertising. That's not their real authentic work, you know?
Mhm.
So for me, I think that is a concern. And I also think it's like these people will come in, my clients will come in with these images that are not realistic expectations,
Mhm.
and I think that's really hard.
Mhm.
Um, I don't I don't know if it'll technically take business away.
Mhm.
It's just gonna have to be, having conversations and have realistic expectations, with my clients, and I'm always straightforward and honest, like, sometimes people give me images, and I'll be, "Well, it might take more than one appointment to get there,"
Yeah.
you know? But even with makeup too, especially AI images, they're flawless.
Mhm.
Everything is perfect. Skin tone is spot on, contouring on point, which you can absolutely do with makeup. But a lot of times it will be like, they're so smooth, there's like no wrinkles. And but when you look at the image, it's completely computer generated.
Yeah.
And makeup can absolutely do so many amazing things. But I think again, with the real unrealistic expectations that people, come in with these pictures, it's just hard. I'm praying I won't lose any business from it, but I've
Yeah.
definitely impacted me.
Yeah, yeah, I could sort of see it. It's making your job harder and trying to where you were like 95% perfect, you would have to make up for that 5% because people are
Yeah.
expecting that. Yeah, it sucks.
It's like
And
a bond that doesn't
yeah,
like, people will be like, "Can you take me from this?" And then but there's just so many there's so many different pictures that I have seen, and it's just crazy to me, and I'm always like, "That's AI. That's not a real color,"
yeah.
you know?
And for me, being a photographer and filmmaker, I'm a little concerned because now there are editing programs that they could edit video and they could edit these pictures. There's this one that's fairly popular. It's called Aftershoot that you could literally drop about 2,000 pictures in there. It'll, choose all the pictures based on, uh, if it's, clear, if the eyes are open, based on the pose and all these other things in 10 minutes. That's something that would take at least an hour or 2 hours. And then furthermore, it would edit those pictures based on what's called a LUT. It's like a color profile, and like different editing techniques you just drop it in and it does all the tweaks. It corrects all the photos in about 10 minutes too. So 20 minutes
Oh, that's crazy.
replaces
That's
the whole, day of editing.
well, I remember, like, I was looking because speaking of photos, um, my boyfriend and I love to travel,
Mhm,
and I found this beautiful place. It said it was in Costa Rica,
mhm,
and I sent it to him, and I was, "Look at how amazing this is, like, I would love to go here." He's like, "Find out where it is." I do research, it's AI. It doesn't
mhm.
even exist. I was like, "Darn it." It's like, "We can't even
Yeah,
go." But it's false advertising,
yeah,
and I've seen people create, like, whole wedding images,
yeah,
all AI.
mhm.
And it's scary. You again, you don't know what's real and what's not.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna take up a business of farming potatoes or
Yeah.
tomatoes. That
I
can't
don't
be
think you have to worry about AI doing anything different.
yeah. Oh, good. Um, so how do you, uh not that we're talking about fear, but there are fears about AI. How do you deal with fear and doubt or burnout as, as a business owner and everything?
Ugh, it's hard. Biblically, it says that God does not give us a spirit of fear. He gives a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. So, again, being a woman of God, I always go to my faith first. I pray for God to give me peace in exchange for anxiety. I'm sorry, give me peace for my anxiety. He takes it away, and you know, um, and it's not easy. There are many times that, you go through ups and downs and you will have dry seasons,
Mhm,
and you just have to keep like persevering and keep pushing through, keep having that faith. And again, like my motto is like be prepared but do it scared. And right now, like I said, I know I need to I have a bigger thing that I'm gonna be doing with my business in the near future, and I have part of that fear in me, but I am pushing through it, and I just think that for me, like, for example, for this, like, I'm just educating myself a little bit more right now before, like, I jump fully into it, and that's why I say be prepared, but do it scared because you don't wanna just
Yeah.
uh, but, finding things that make you happy. I think that the other thing is that we get so wrapped up, like, we work 7 days a week. I don't care what anybody says, when you're a business owner, they're clock in and clock out. Like, you don't have a 40-hour work week. It's, like, practically 7 days a week, um, because I still have to book appointments and this and that. I will tell you, I have learned to try and take a day of rest on Sundays.
Mhm.
Um, I go to church every Sunday, and I try and have that be my day of rest. Sometimes I still have to message clients. That's why I say it's usually never, completely off. But, I think the most important thing is making you time.
Mhm.
I think that we struggle, sometimes just being so wrapped up in the everyday life of being business owners, and again, not only business owners, but you're working full time on top of it.
Yeah.
So in everyday life. So I think just having moments of just, like, you alone, even if it's an hour a day, or an hour, if it has to be, like, a few hours a week, you know, for me, it's having that moment of, like, walking by the beach. Like,
Mhm.
beach is just, like, my sanctuary. It's just listening to the sound of the waves crashing and just, like, being in that moment. It gives me such peace. And so every week, sometimes a few times a week, like, I'll even if it's just a drive by and I can get out for a few minutes, like, I try and do that. Um, and I really think just having that moment of just alone and in the moment you will help you reset yourself because you can still be afraid. Like, you're allowed to have all those feelings,
Mhm.
but it's working through them, because if you keep going and going and going and you don't have that time to reset yourself, it's gonna build up and build up and build up
Mhm.
until it explode. So you have to have that reset button
Yeah.
and have time for yourself and have that time to just be in that moment, remove distractions, and even if it's an hour a day, an hour, every other day, whatever it is, whenever you can fit it in, it's so important that you take you time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's super beneficial. So looking back, what advice would you give your past self?
Or this is gonna be a long one. No. Um, don't give up.
Mm.
You're gonna go through hard times and you're gonna struggle, but love yourself through the struggles and keep pushing forward because you are meant for greatness and you are gonna do things. And it's crazy that you asked that question, and it got me a little teary eyed because 2 years ago, I was going through a really dark time and I actually recorded a video talking to my future self.
Mm.
And I look back on that video and I'm nowhere near the person I am,
Wow.
or I was, I should say, that in that moment. And I was really struggling. I was really struggling in that moment, um, trying to figure out myself, trying to, just lift myself up. Um, and that's the thing, it's just not giving up and loving yourself through the process. I have a sign over here, and again, I'm big on quotes, and it says, grow through what you go through.
Mm.
And that's something that I think every moment in your life, good or bad, you're gonna grow through it. You're gonna have something come out of it. So, but yeah, just keep going and don't stop. Never give up.
Awesome. That's a TikTok short right there.
Right.
Um,
That means you added a clip.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So what's one misconception people have about starting or running a business?
I feel like the biggest thing is that it's just gonna be like, that's it. I just gotta start up and it's gonna happen. I don't think that people understand, like, that there's so many different areas. Like, there's so many different strings that are attached to that, and pieces. And it's not just like, okay, I'm just gonna start it up. It's gonna work out. I think, um, you know, like for me, when I did, like, I have an LLC. So again, the whole thing, be prepared, do it scared, right? Like, do your research on it. Figure out what you need to start that business, and so the paperwork, the layers of that, and then also, obviously, if you're having a commercial spot, like, now you have that, but then you also have to worry about signage, you have to worry about utilities, you have to worry about permits, you know what I mean? People will have that mindset, but especially when they have, like, a commercial spot, like, there's a lot that you have to go through. Like, I had to go through multiple inspections here, you have to get things approved, like, you have to have, because of sinks and everything like that with the health
Yeah.
department, like, certain things. So I think that I think that people probably think it's easier than what it is.
Mhm.
And I could be wrong, that's just, what I'm putting out there. But, like, when I first did this, I didn't realize the amount of, like, actual, like, layers it took to build this up. Like, I remember, like, coming in, I'm like, "Oh, I can't wait to have this." Like, "Alright, I got the business, I know I'm gonna have utilities." But then, like, I'm getting, like, this huge bill for the sign outside. I'm like, "Oh my god, I forgot I gotta put a sign outside. This is, like, this is name."
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't think of certain things. Um, and also, like, you have to have that constant drive, that
Mhm.
constant, like, focus of keep going, because a lot of businesses fail. I think it's what is it, the first, like, 1 to 3 years, I think, or 1 to 5 years, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of businesses fail around me, and, I know a few salons that have opened up around the same time as me that, unfortunately, are no longer there, and I know that everybody has, different reasonings, but it's very hard,
Mhm.
but you have to have that work ethic, and I think the biggest thing is that you don't clock in and clock out.
Mhm.
I think a lot of people are like, it's gonna be a full-time business, this will be my job, but yeah, there is no clock in, clock out, it's like around the clock almost, so.
Yeah. Yeah, eventually, depending on how big you wanna get it, you can make it clock in, clock out, where
Yes.
you become the CEO, kind of
Yeah.
handling how people work for you, and then you just walk in, "Oh, you're doing hair good, okay, customer service is good, okay," and then you go to the Bahamas, whatever.
Listen,
Um,
that's not a retirement plan that you're preaching right now. Okay. We will get there. So,
or
no,
maybe you'll
that's
find that one fictional place.
Yes, agreed.
Yes, I think it's in the Bahamas or something like
Yes.
that. So how has this journey changed, who you are as a person?
Definitely showed me the armor that I need to put on. Um, it's honestly, it's grown me a lot. It really has. Like, I've really grown in my confidence, and
Mhm.
that's one thing I struggled with a lot in my life. Like, I struggled with confidence, not only myself, in my career as a speaker. You would never see me caught dead speaking to you right now if it was a few years ago.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I've always struggled. I mean, I can remember being in high school and when I went to college, like, I had to read a paper in front of somebody, and I felt like the paper was, like, shaking like this. Like, I never really was a great, like, speaker, but I believe in myself now,
Mhm.
and I have that confidence, and I have that strength, and I have that determination and willpower, and it's changed me for the better, and I have that, like, mindset of, like, "I got this."
Mhm.
Like, "I got this." Like, I can go through anything, I'll make it through. I might struggle, I might fall, but I'll never stop.
Awesome, and it shows, your confidence shows in your work, your office, and everything that you portray, and I'm proud of you and happy for you.
Thank
So, uh,
Like,
yeah, so what's next for you in your salon, in your business ventures? Are you looking to open up a restaurant someday, or what?
I know. Being Italian, I've had people tell me. Yes. Um, so I am in the process of what I was saying before, like, I get nervous about this, but, I'm taking a big leap of faith and a step, in the very near future of, I'm in the process of creating my own makeup line, my own cosmetic line, and, it's so much more than makeup, so
Mhm.
much makeup, and, it's gonna be so empowering and so inspiring, and I can't wait to have that evolve, and, it's definitely beauty with a purpose. So, that's my next venture, and
Is that what it's called?
it's gonna be called Revival Beauty by Devine.
Okay.
So, yep, And it revival beauty to me is just like, ugh, I feel like revival has so many different meanings. And on there, I actually have a scripture because God spoke to me to put like a scripture on the logo, and it's 2 Corinthians 5:17. All things are made new in Christ. The past is gone, the new has begun. And just symbolizes your past does not define you. You are a new creation. And I feel like from everything I've gone through, and I mean, I'm lucky to be here today, you know, and the storms I had to endure, and just totally transforming myself into like who I am today. Like I was like such a fragile human being like when I first got out of that domestic violence situation. And I didn't have the strength I have now. And I remember going to revival at our church, and that's why it's revival. I mean, revival changed me. It totally transformed me in every way possible. And I felt such a release of so much negativity and so much weight that was like holding me down and weighing me back. And I remember somebody praying over me and just feeling like everything was just lifted. And after that, after I went to revival was when I changed the logo in my business. I put a cross in my logo, and God told me that I needed to get a bigger place. That's when I met with the realtor. That's when I got my new salon, and fast forward, like all these amazing things have happened after revival. And so revival to me is just it's about transformation on the inside out. And again, and having that Bible verse on there about the past is gone, the new has begun. So many people can relate to that. Your past doesn't define you, and your circumstances don't define you. And I just want people to be inspired. So I'm looking forward to that journey.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Yeah, and you're almost there. You're almost there.
Yes.
Awesome. So,
Time
yeah, any words for someone listening who's just about to start their own business?
just keep pushing forward. Don't give up. Be prepared and do it scared. It's okay to be afraid, but take that leap of faith, and don't be afraid to allow others to inspire you. Don't look at them as competition. Look at them as inspiration, and ask those questions like you are who you surround yourself with. Surround yourself with those like-minded individuals, with other business owners. Ask those questions. Ask for advice. Ask the same thing that you're asking me. I've asked other people, with bits of advice, and just keep going. Never stop. If you have faith, if you believe in yourself and work hard, you will accomplish all of your dreams.
Awesome. And some people may think that this is well rehearsed, but it's not. I could tell that you believe what you're saying because it is coming from your heart. And it's very beautiful, the way that you're able to, um, you know, you're living proof of, what God could do through a surrendered vessel kind of thing. Um,
Uh, so true.
yeah.
But that's the key. What you said right there is surrendering. So,
Yeah.
you have to surrender again that victim mentality mode, or I can't do this, like that negative mindset. You
Mhm.
have to surrender everything back and let it go, and just let God work and release it, and just watch what he happens, because he like I'm living breathing proof that he will take your pain and turn it into purpose.
Mhm.
And I mean, if I had told you, I mean, trust me, I have a whole story to tell, but I mean, the fact I'm looking here today, talking to you like this is definitely, God's doing. And I'd gone through many struggles, and, to be very transparent, like there was times that I had many thoughts of suicide,
Mhm.
and I went through very dark times,
Mhm.
and God pulled me out of the pit. And there's an expression that says that God pulled you out of the fire so you can go back in and help others out. And I truly believe that's why I had to go through the struggles I went through.
Mm, that's awesome. So, if people want to, find you and help and find and find what do I want to say? Um, that they need help getting out of the fire.
Yeah.
How can people connect with you and support with you and support you?
Yeah, so, you can find me on various platforms, but, if you go to my website, it's divine-beauty.com, like Devine hyphen beauty.com. It has everything there. My Instagram and Facebook and TikTok handle is all CTDevineBeauty, but remember it's Devine, my last name. D and, but yeah, you'll see, a lot of a variety of things on there, and then, also on my website, you'll see I started a fundraiser. This will be my 4th year. It's called Beauty from Ashes, and 100% proceeds goes to the Umbrella Center, which, is the organization that helped me get out of my domestic violence situation. So I've become an advocate and a speaker and, just again, God took my pain and turned it into purpose, and I'm trying to help others. So you'll see that on there as well.
Awesome, awesome. Any final words to close out this podcast?
I would say continue to choose you. Um, when you know your worth, you won't accept anything less than you deserve. Continue to pour into yourself so that you have enough to pour onto others. And again, to take the rocks that people have thrown at you and use them to build your mountaintop and never give up. Keep going. Again, if you have faith, believe in yourself, and work hard, you will accomplish your dreams.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer, for being on my Business Story podcast. And I know I'll see you again soon.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Take care.
Ciao.
So I'm going to just end the recording.